this is Lorraine and this is my rat dissection post-lab. I believe that a rabbit's respiratory, digestive, and reproductive system will look most like the rat we dissected. Since both animals are in kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, and class Mammalia, they will share very similar traits. In mammals, the respiratory system airway is from the nostrils to the lungs. So I would assume the rabbit's respiratory would follow from the nose to the larynx to the trachea, the esophagus, lungs, bronchi, bronchioles, and then to the alveoli. Since both the rabbit and rat are vertebrates, their digestive system is complete as both have the two openings, a mouth and an anus. Their pathway follows the same path as it starts from the mouth, the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, right here, and then here's the stomach, the large intestines, then the excretion through the anus. So from the mouth it goes all the way down and then excretes through the anus. Since they are both mammals, the rabbit will have their mechanical digestion in the mouth, with the mechanical digestion being the teeth, and the chemical digestion would happen in the small intestines. The nutrients not needed are then excreted by the anus. Since both the rat and rabbit have separate sexes, you can distinguish if it's male or female. Since a mammal's derived characteristic is internal fertilization, both these animals would have this. Mammals have pretty much similar structures in the body compared to one another. So the reproductive organs would be very similar to each other. The organs that each of the mammals will have will be some of the follows as the ovary, the oviduct, vagina, and in males, the penis, the testicles, and so on. So next, we have the comparisons of all the animals. All the animals we have dissected have a complete digestive system. Each of those animals have the two openings. However, the digestive organs for a process were different. For example, the earthworm uses their gizzard, as showed right here, to mechanically break down food. A perch, on the other hand, uses its stomach, located right here, for the mechanical digestion. In a squid, mechanical digestion happens by the use of their beak. As you can see right here in this picture, it's the beak located in the buccal mass. And a crayfish uses gastric teeth, which is not pictured on here, but they use their gastric teeth to break down food by mechanical digestion. All these animals have mechanical digestion, but have different organs and ways for it. Circulatory systems in all are all different, as each have different metabolic needs and the organs with it. Well, for the organs, earthworms do not have a heart. Instead, they have 5 aortic arches, which you can see right here. The aortic arches are analogous to the heart which the vertebrates have. The perch has a 2-chambered heart. The crayfish has a single-chambered heart, and the squid has 3 hearts. An example of a metabolic need, a squid has a closed circulatory system as a crayfish is open. This is because squids have an active lifestyle and because they are predators. More blood needs to be pumped to the organs, hence why they need a closed circulatory system. With a crayfish being a scavenger, they don't use a lot of energy like the squid do. Therefore, that is why they have an open circulatory system. Respiratory system, each animal breathes differently. An earthworm doesn't have lungs, so they breathe through their skin. As you can see, they just use their skin. There is no lungs or anything. As a perch, it doesn't have lungs either, but it uses its gills, which you can see right here, the gills, to get oxygen from the water it lives in. Now the crayfish uses its gills and gill filaments, just like a perch, to get the oxygen. So those two can be very similar to one another in a way of getting oxygen. With the squid, it uses the collar of the mantle to ventilate the gills and help with the active lifestyle that it has. So the gills, you can just see, are along here. It's very tiny. And although each animal has a different mechanism to breathe, they still have the same results that caters to them. Reproductive systems, each of these animals have different organs, but they have the same idea of the process. A perch, it has separate sexes. This was selected due to the probability of finding a mate is high. It lays lots of eggs and undergoes external fertilization. Due to this, the survival rate of the offspring is high compared to squids that produce by internal fertilization. As the fertilized eggs are released, the eggs are exposed to predators and the environment, which leads to lower survival rate of the offspring. An earthworm is monoecious, so it has both male and female parts in one individual. This was selected due to the probability of finding a mate is low. It lays a few eggs compared to the other animals we have dissected. Due to this, the survival rate is low compared to crayfish, who are dioecious. The crayfish can have many eggs, which the offspring have a higher survival rate. A rat has separate sexes. This was selected for due to the probability of finding a mate is high. It has internal fertilization as it is a mammal and produces many offspring. Survival rate of this animal is very high and successful. Here in the earthworm, you can see that in the purple, which is number 1, there's the seminal reticle, which is the female organ, and number 2, the blue, is the seminal vesicle, the male organ. So this one has both the male and female organs. And then in these animals, you can tell that there are separate sexes, as this is the ovary and it only has female organs. The crayfish has a seminal receptacle, which is an indicator that it is a female, doesn't also have male organs. And then the perch right here, ours was a male, so we had testes, and the sperm gets delivered to the female. For question number 4, the physiology of a perch would not support the metabolic needs of a rat because rats live on land and the temperature changes. So they have to be endothermic, as they don't need to rely on the external environment to regulate their body temperature. And this causes more energy than the perch. The perch uses a single circuit as it doesn't need or require much energy. Rats, on the other hand, have a double circuit, therefore using more energy. As a perch is rather simple in terms of circulatories to support their low metabolic needs, a rat's circulatory is more complex, therefore it has higher metabolic needs. This is why a perch's physiology wouldn't support that of a rat. Questions are part of the 182 curriculum, so we can see and understand the different systems of animals and how they compare and contrast. From the dissections, I have learned how similar each animal is to one another, even though they are completely different. Each animal has, in a sense, the same idea but different way of getting there. Kind of like how you can have some dishes but different recipes. Well, these dissections did show me that each animal is very similar to another but may have different ways of getting to the destination. So like for the digestive tract, it's from the mouth to the anus, but some may have gastric teeth, some may have the beak, and so on.